story is told about a rich man who comes to his rabbi one day and says, "Rabbi, I've lived a good life, but not perfect. I've made some mistakes. I haven't always been as generous as I should have been. And so I want you to help me ensure that I get into heaven by bribing God." And the rabbi says to him, "My friend, you know I can't do such a thing, that it's impossible to bribe God. There's nothing that I can do that is going to guarantee what is going to happen to you tomorrow, let alone in the world to come." The rich man argues with the rabbi, but to no avail. The rabbi says, "I can't bribe God." And so the rich man decides to take matters into his own hands. And he thinks and thinks and thinks and decides that the best thing that he can offer to God is the most wonderful challah in the whole town. And so he goes to the baker and he asks the baker to bake 2 of his best challahs. And the rich man comes and he picks them up before Shabbat. He takes them to the synagogue and he thinks, where should I put them if I want to be sure that God receives them? And he looks all around and he finally decides that the best place is to put them in the ark. And so he opens the doors of the ark, puts the challahs in, says, "These are for you, God," shuts the door and leaves. A little while later, the man who generally takes care of the synagogue and helps to clean it up, he comes in to get ready for Shabbat. And he's thinking to himself that, he's really fallen on hard times. He's not making enough money even to put Shabbat dinner on the table for his family. So he goes to the rabbi and he says, "Rabbi, things have been really, really difficult for me lately. Times are hard, my kids have been sick, I don't have enough money even to make a simple Shabbat dinner. I want you to talk to God and to make a miracle for me so that all of a sudden I will have enough money and enough food, not for luxury, but just for a simple life and Shabbat dinner." And so the rabbi says to him, "I can't make miracles. I can't force God to do anything. But we, your community, we're here to help you. We can give you tzedakah. Nobody will know." The man says, No, I don't want tzedakah. I don't want to take anything from you or anybody else. I want God to make a miracle for me so that I can make a beautiful Shabbat dinner." The rabbi refuses. "I can't make miracles," he says. And so the man goes back to his job of tidying up the synagogue, getting ready for Shabbat, and he decides that he's going to appeal to God directly for the miracle that he wants. And he knows, of course, that the best way to talk to God, the closest place to God in the synagogue, is the ark. And so he opens up the ark, and lo and behold, 2 challahs are sitting right there before he has even said a word. And he is so grateful to God. He thanks God. He takes the challahs, and after services, he has a beautiful Shabbat with his family. That Shabbat, when the rich man comes to synagogue and the ark is open, he's so pleased to see that his challahs have been taken away. He knows that he has a plea to God, that God has heard his request for a miracle, and surely he will get into heaven when he dies. And so this goes on, week after week after week. The rich man comes and he says, "These are for you, God." He puts them in the ark and he closes the door. And the poor man comes each week and says, "God, just help me provide Shabbat for my family." And he opens the ark and 2 beautiful challahs fall out. So one week, the rabbi's in the back of the synagogue. He's looking, getting ready for Shabbat, and he notices the strangest thing. The rich man comes in. He opens the ark. He puts the challahs in. And a little while later, the poor man comes and opens the ark and takes the challahs out. "Oy vavoy," thought the rabbi. "I wondered why these men were no longer coming and asking me for miracles. I can't believe this has been going on." And he thinks about what to do and knows that the time has come that he must tell each man what has happened. And so he brings them together and he says to the rich man, "I told you that it wasn't possible to bribe God, and I see that you've been putting your challahs in the ark every week." "And yes," says the rich man, "and God is taking them every week." So the rabbi turns to the poor man and he says, "I see that you've been appealing to God every week for challahs." "And yes," says the poor man, "God has been providing." And then the rich man and the poor man look at each other, and all of a sudden they realize what has been happening. So the rich man looks to the rabbi and he says, "You mean there's been no miracle? God isn't taking my challahs?" And the poor man says, "You mean there's been no miracle? God's not providing me with challahs?" And the rabbi thinks, and he thinks, and he thinks. And finally he says to each of them, "Yes, there has been a miracle. And miracles are very, very hard to arrange." This is a wonderful story to share at your Shabbat table. It's a reminder, of course, that the miracles of our life aren't the things that come from nowhere, the things that seem to defy the laws of nature, the things that turn the order of events upside down. But the true miracles are in the generosity of spirit that leads us to give to others, sometimes in strange ways, and the willingness to open our hearts to receive help when it's offered. That act of giving and taking, what Judaism calls gemilut chasadim, those acts are the miracles in our lives, and they're the way in which God works those miracles not from far away, but through the hands and the hearts of each one of us. So as you listen to this story and as you think about it, I ask you to ask yourself, what miracles will you arrange in the weeks that lie ahead? Shabbat Shalom.